Live from Town Square Towers at the heart of the Jersey Shore. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Get up, get out, do something. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Trying to read a book, Zach. What do you got to remind me that the show's back on? Come on.
Oh, that was
priorities
scary.
here.
That was scary.
All right, hold on. Let me do this. Hey, welcome back. 6:08, Monday, August 8th. 70 degrees, get up to 82 today. WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. News Talk Radio, streaming live on the Radio Pop app and WOBMAM.com. 732-505-1160 to join our conversation. Yes, I was trying to read a book. I needed some help with some of the bigger words because I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, as we all know. We are now joined in studio by Bob Salomon. Bob is the author of Beyond the Laces, which is an inspiring book about, children, athletes, and hope and kindness. Right? Is that a fair characterization, Bob?
Absolutely. And again, thank you for having me, Jeremy. I really appreciate being here.
All right, so why don't you, absolutely, well, we appreciate you being here too, because nobody wants to hear me talk for an extra 45 minutes. So why don't you give us a kind of an overview of what this project was all about for you and kind of how it came to happen?
Sure. 2009, I ended up putting together a children's book called A Glove of Their Own. I ended up producing it, and I was behind the scenes to get it to print. That book won national awards for Best Picture Book, for the Ben Franklin Award, and we ended up rallying professional athletes to create a pay it forward movement. Since then, I became the voice of that book, and I realized, I wanted my own book to really just get in front of kids and inspire them and really just bring goodness to them. And I ended up working on a book I had a vision to really inspire kids through the game of football, and I ended up putting together a football book called Beyond the Laces. And I assembled a team to help me put it together, and it's here. We're here, and I'm in the studio after 4 years of putting this together and living a dream, Jeremy.
Living the dream. So Bob, how did you? First of all, let's go back. Let's go in the Wayback Machine.
Way back,
right?
Okay.
We're going in the Wayback Machine, right? Like we're getting in our DeLorean, right? And we are we got to get to whatever 67 miles an hour or something, whatever the heck it was, and hope the flux capacitor works appropriately. But start back when you So what did you do professionally before you got into this project?
Sure. I wanted law enforcement as a kid.
Okay.
I started young. I was in a state police academy. I ended up getting hurt, medical discharge, and I ended up taking a correction officer test. So I was a correction officer for 25 years.
Okay.
And I ended up retiring young. And through that journey, I've seen a lot of things, not so good. And I guess a desire to help kids always been in my heart. But especially going through that journey, these kids need a positive impact or a positive way for they don't end up there.
Right.
So I ended up retiring, and I love sports, and I love kids more. So I kind of combined them, and now we're here.
Right. So you're saying that through your years of being a corrections officer and kind of dealing with, let's say, those that have taken a wrong turn, that kind of inspired you to say, how do I help kids not make that wrong turn? Is that what it was?
Well, not just corrections. It was just part of the equation because, I work with a lot of youth. It's my passion, Kids are going through troubled times and kids that are, just struggling, you know? And again, corrections, I saw a lot that these kids, sometimes one decision they make end up changing their whole lives, whether they go to jail or whether they're successful, or they go to school. So I think it wasn't the full reason, absolutely not. But it was a part of the whole equation, and I guess gave me the background to really understand kids.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, when you were 18 years old and you were thinking of what you wanted to do with your life, would you have thought that at this point you would be doing something like this? Did you ever have an inkling that this was a passion for you, or did it kind of develop over time?
Not at all. Zero.
Right.
I would be the last person in Earth that you would say, Bob's going to be part of a book or write a book.
Right.
The last one. And it just kind of happened. You know, my passion was for kids always. And Jeremy, when I was a kid, this is what's weird about this whole thing. When I was like 9, 10, I always said, man, I want to be that professional athlete, right? And obviously I'm about 300 pounds overweight. Now, I'm not going to become that athlete now.
Right.
But you know what I mean? I didn't become that athlete. I was always slow. I love sports. I was decent at it, but I never had that speed.
Right.
You know, I didn't make it. And I always thought, man, if I ever was that athlete, I would take my time and really be different. And this is a thought pattern as a kid. I would sign autographs. I would really use that platform or that influence to really just be different and cater to kids. And this was a kid thinking this.
Yeah, that's odd.
That's
because
weird, right?
I know what I was thinking I would be doing if I was a professional athlete, and it didn't involve children. In fact, it probably involved the opposite of children.
Yeah, well, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But isn't that weird as a kid, Jeremy? I was thinking, man, if I guess the thought of, wow, someone wanted my autograph.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
It's pretty cool, right? And then, 30, 40 years later, we're signing books and loving kids and really inspiring them. It's really, it's just amazing.
Right. Well, that's really cool. So, and so the book is, it's very, look, so it's to the point. I mean, I read it in 10 minutes, and thank you for helping me with some of the larger words, because I know it's anything with more than 4 or 5 letters I start to struggle with. The illustrations are really good, but I think what's also very interesting is you've gotten a lot of support from former athletes, right? Why don't you talk about how that all came to happen?
Sure. Through A Glove of Their Own, we ended up, getting support of baseball players. And then I realized how powerful they can be to children. What a big influence. And I really started enjoying putting people with athletes. Random acts of kindness, getting them on the phone. Tommy John, for instance. Tommy John was one of my baseball supporters, and I would say, Tommy, come on, let's make this guy's dream come true. He's a huge Yankee fan or a huge Dodger fan. So I realized how powerful, it hits the hearts of those people, especially if you're talking to an athlete. So, through the journey, I figure, why not use the influence of professional athletes to drive home a message of love, kindness, inspiring. And then I ended up, from my first journey, I met a lot of friendships. I actually created a lot of friendships through baseball. And then, word of mouth, the guys realized that, well, Bob's helping people. And then all of a sudden, I have Mark Brunell supporting me, and he becomes a friend of mine. And, now I have Herm Edwards holding the book, and Don Mattingly's holding the book,
right.
So it's just a chain reaction. And it was very hard to break into that world, because a lot of times they have agents. And
Sure.
what do agents usually focus on?
Loot.
Yeah, loot, right? So I'm the guy coming out of the box saying, listen,
right.
I have a vision to help kids. How much do you have?
Right.
Zero.
Right.
Zero.
When we come back, so there's first of all, there's one athlete on here that really strikes me, and that's Jim Eisenreich. So I'd love to talk about that when we get back, because I'm sure there must be a story there. And then I would also like to hear some of the success stories, because I know, look, that you do this because you want to kind of touch children, right, in a positive way. So I'm sure you have some great stories to share with that. So let's do that when we get back. Bob Salomon talking Beyond the Laces. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. Back after this.
Stay tuned for Preferred Company with Joel Markell and Marianne Levy at 8. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin continues next. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.
Hey, welcome back. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. We are here with Bob Salomon. We are talking Beyond the Laces. We're talking about kids. We're talking A Glove of Their Own. We'll get to that in a little bit. But I notice when I look at the list of athletes that you've worked with, the one that jumps out at me is Jim Eisenreich. So I know he's got a great story. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how that came to happen?
Wow. Through the journey, I've met some amazing athletes, and their hearts are big to be involved in this project. But one person that really stands out, Jeremy, is Jim Eisenreich. Our friendship started way back when I went to a charity event, and I ended up bringing Tommy John to this charity event. And at the event, we were traveling to a baseball game. I think it was the Iron Pigs. The event was in Pennsylvania. and I ended up giving Jim Eisenreich a ride in my vehicle. I had no clue who he was. So me and him bonded immediately. I thought his demeanor was kind. He was soft-spoken. And then we talked everything other than baseball. I didn't even know he was really a baseball player until halfway in the car ride. So fast forward, I became a personal friend of his. And then I learned about his career. I didn't know about him that he won. I didn't know that he won a World Series.
Right.
I had no clue.
With the Royals, right? Yeah.
No, not
no,
Royals.
With the Royals, no.
Marlins? Is it? No.
No.
Come on. Now, sorry,
That's
Jim.
all right. Go ahead. I got this. I got the internet. You keep going.
Yeah.
You keep going.
So he ended up winning a World Series, and he was a real inspiration to many. I did not know his backstory. He had Tourette's.
Mm-hmm.
So he told me stories about when he was on a field. I think he was part of baseball. Then he stopped for a couple of years and came back and won a World Series. His story is remarkable. But he went through hell and back. At the time he tells the story. He had Tourette's. They didn't really know a lot about it. So he would be at the plate in front of 30,000 people twitching and saying things. And at one point he was very depressed because he didn't realize, are the players there to see him or some of his movements and swear? So he's been through a lot, and he ended up taking a break from baseball, and he came back and won World Series. But his story, when you get to hear his passion, and what he's been through to beat his obstacles. Now he is retired. He still does things in the community, and he helps kids with Tourette's now. So his story has come full circle. I spent the weekend with him at the Little League World Series with my baseball book way back. And Jeremy, he came, paid his own ticket, his own hotel, and he said, "Bob, I just want to help you promote a positive message." And since then, he's become a close personal friend.
Right. And so World Series champion 1997 with the Florida Marlins.
Marlins, there you go. Sorry, Jim.
That's all right. And I'll accept your apology on Jim Eisenreich's behalf.
Thank you.
And now runs his own foundation, the Jim Eisenreich Foundation for Children with Tourette Syndrome. Kind of is in the Kansas City area where he lives and where he played for 6 years in the late 80s, early 90s. Success stories or kids that you've impacted. That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So you have 2 minutes. Give me one. Give me one that you could. I know. I'm giving you a short time span here. It's radio. We got to do our best. Go ahead.
All right. Remember, this story is about a little boy who's sick, and he's inspired by his favorite athlete, number 87. 87 goes out of his way for him, and it's a tearjerker, and it's about not giving up and the journey through a sick child and family's eyes. So what I love to do is give out books. So going to Jersey Shore Hospital, in other local hospitals, and seeing a kid going through a hard time, and you come in there and give him books and shirts and just give him encouragement, or her, of course, and really just talk to the parents and give them a book. I can't explain the feeling you have, and it's not about book sales. It's not about athletes. It's about that family.
Absolutely.
So that is, to me, that feeling does not get old. And that's one of my favorites. And then schools. I love doing schools. Those kids, oh my God, author visits. When you generally say to a kid, we're having an author visit, you know what the first thing they think of, Jeremy?
What's
first thing.
What's that?
I'm out of class for an hour.
That's right.
Okay?
Listen, I can speak to that personally because that's what I was all about.
Okay.
Bob Salomon, Beyond the Laces and A Glove of Their Own. When we come back, we give him his magic wand. We also got to figure out what the next sport that Bob's working on is. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. Back after this.
The news is next. Live from the WOBM Newsroom, the Town Square, New Jersey News Network, and Fox News Radio. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.
Hey, welcome back. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, 6:33, Monday, August 8th, 70 degrees, got up to 82 today. WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. News Talk Radio, streaming live on the Radio Pop app and WOBMAM.com, 732-505-1160. Join the conversation. We are joined in studio by Bob Salomon. We were talking Beyond the Laces, among other things. So, Bob, when we left, you were talking about the impact you make in a school, and I think you left off by saying the kids are super excited because they get an hour where they're not like in class, quote unquote.
Right.
So, go ahead.
If you talk to children, that's the first thing they say. A lot of them, right? Because remember, how do we learn, right? What kids like? Talk to kids, right? So I put a lot of time into talking to kids, and most author visits are boring.
Right.
Because what are the author visits? And again, there are some amazing authors out there that are, all right, maybe they don't have public speaking, but their books are great. Again, it's not bashing them, but what kids say, what do most authors talk about when they go to schools? What do they talk about?
Writing. Themselves,
right?
I did it. You gave me a visual.
I gave you a
little
point.
Hint,
I gave you a
kind
point.
of point to yourself. Thanks,
Themselves,
Bob.
right?
Thanks for bailing me out.
At the end of it, are the kids really going to remember the author's name? Are they going to remember the book title? Know what they're going to remember, Jeremy? I learned this from a good friend of mine, Billy Staples, has numerous books out, Disney Teacher of the Year. And he said, Bob, they're going to remember one thing, how you treated them.
Right.
I'm like, wow, it hit me hard. They don't care. So what we do is we try to make it all about the kids. We have fun with them. We have contests. We give them free things out. We give them bookmarkers out to qualify them for contests. So we have all the kids participating. Then we bring in the storyline about kindness, love. And guess what? You really focus on these kids. And to me, we were talking about good stories. When you do that, the kids really respond.
Sure.
And that's a great story.
Well, and I think most authors, I for a time I ran bookstores.
Oh, really?
Right? I used to run 10 bookstores for Borders Books. Mm-hmm. All right, because I knew that the book industry was going to be a heavy growth industry, and I felt good that this was going to be something that was going to really take off, and I was going to be on the ground floor. And what you learn about book people and authors really is that there's a reason they end up working in a bookstore or writing is because they like to be in their own world and don't necessarily relate to people in the same way.
Oh, wow.
So I think when you find someone who's an author and come in and kind of inspire someone, that's a little different. It's probably definitely out of the box, even for someone writing a children's story. So that's very cool.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I never thought of it that way, but thank you. Yeah.
It's different.
I guess so, right?
Absolutely.
Wow.
So Bob, so tell me, what's the next sport? Come on. I mean, we've done baseball. You've done baseball and football. Those are the easy ones, all right? So you got a couple choices left, right? So I thought fencing at first, maybe bocce.
Bocce?
No, bocce.
Wow.
I really like rugby, but I think that may be too close. So what are you thinking?
Well, my girl's a dancer.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
But I don't think.
I feel like we should break into a George Carlin is dancing a sport thing.
Yeah.
No.
She's a dancer, but I don't look too good in a tutu. You know what I mean?
I got
really
no comment. No comment.
But yeah, I don't know. I would love to do a dancing book for her.
Yeah?
But she wants nothing to do with that. She's
No?
like, no. You would think my kids be like, oh, yeah,
right?
No, they're around it. It's
They're not like Daddy, write a book about me?
No, Daddy, shut up about that book.
Oh, really? She's done with it.
Nah. Yeah, but I'm thinking soccer.
Nice.
Some people approach me with soccer. We kind of have a storyline, high-level whiteboard kind of storyline. But again, anything that we touch has to really impact kids,
right?
And it has to have a heartfelt
and
message.
ultimately, it's not about the sport, right? It's just about the message, right?
You got it. Yeah, that's
Although I do have 3 kids that play travel soccer, so I'm smelling what you're stepping in there, Bob. So
you want to join us, Jeremy?
Yeah. Let me know. I can help you out with that.
Right,
Bob, it's that time now. It's the time where we give you the magic wand, the pixie dust, the fairy dust, the ability just to wiggle your nose and make an impact on the world. And Bob Salomon, you've already done that in so many ways. So, but this time you don't have to deal with publishers or anybody else. You could just kind of do whatever you want to do. So, Bob, what are you doing? What are you doing to make that impact in one fell swoop?
Oh, kindness. Don't worry about the win. Be kind to each other. These are all just random words out there.
Yeah.
Be a team, not I in team. All the stuff that we grew up with. But a key to success, I think, you could have the best degree, you could have the best swing, the best arm in sports. You could have a platform on the radio, you could have a platform on TV. If you're not kind, to people and you use that platform to impact them, I think we're missing it.
Right.
I really do. So I think athletes, TV people, celebrities, everybody, I think kindness is key. I really do. Because kindness opens up so many doors, especially with youth.
It's so hard, though. I mean, in our society where we have so little kindness, I mean, you can turn on the television and watch, right now you can watch our president, you could watch our two major party candidates. There's very little kindness there. Right. So it's very difficult. It's so difficult to preach that message.
But here we go. What you just said, right? Usually people have a platform. They're about a specific cause, right? And you know what cause it usually is? It's about them.
Right.
Me. How about making it about others? Right?
So let me play devil's advocate for a second.
Right,
so the one candidate that I saw
we're talking kids books, Jeremy.
I know.
Come on,
but the
really?
one candidate that I saw this election season who tried to not make it about anything else was John Kasich.
Okay.
Right? Who seemed like he was a guy who tried to be above the fray, and he was just too boring.
Too boring, yeah.
And
where is he now?
He's I don't know. He's still governing. Anyway, but we digress. Bob, tell me where I can learn more. How do I get the book? How do I learn about what you're working on? How do we get you to come to our schools? What do we do?
Oh, very simple.
Okay.
BeyondTheLaces.com. BeyondTheLaces.com. Everything's there. My telephone number, email address, it's all there. BeyondTheLaces.com.
BeyondTheLaces.com. You could see lots of pictures of athletes. You could see kids holding the book. And you can learn more about how to contact Bob Salomon and get him into your school. Bob, I will tell you, even at 6 o'clock in the morning, your energy is amazing and you're so positive and it's funny. I have a friend who works very closely with the Toms River Police Department, Jillian Messina. Okay. And she is like the most positive person I know. And every time I try to say something remotely negative, she
switches it up.
She sends me like emojis of like dancing, of like somebody dancing and something, whatever. She's like, just be positive. And I'm like, ugh, how do you do it every day? But that's awesome, man. And keep doing what you're doing because making an impact is what we're all about. So we appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Again, this has been a fun experience. I really laughed a lot this morning when the mic is off, and you guys are awesome. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. That's what he said. We laugh a lot when the mic is off. Isn't that great? It'll be good. The sponsors will be happy to know that. More Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin back after this.